This conference
My
will
red
now
dot's
be
on.
recorded.
I started the recording, even though we haven't admitted, but thank you all.
Can you hear me, Joe?
Who is that, Elise? Yes, very clearly now.
Okay.
Well, what happened to 100 people? Last meeting we had on the 11th last week, we had people locked out. After we reached 100 people could not get in. The office got calls. I got a few calls. They couldn't get in because the limit, and I'll say that again when the meeting starts officially. So this one doesn't have arrows on it. The way you go up and down is by just using your mouse and scrolling up and down. And it is 3:30. We're calling the meeting to order. Today is the 18th of May, 2020. A special board meeting with a limited agenda. The change from Zoom to this format was because the Zoom that we were using was a limit of 100 people and 100 participants. And if we went to the next level, which would allow 300 participants, it would cost approximately $200 a month, of which we were paying before $15 a month. So I changed over to a different service, which is called Go-To Meetings, which allows us to use 250 volunteers for $16 a month. So I'm sorry about the change, but that's the way it is. So I hope everybody's getting on okay. The meeting's called to order at Len, and we have 55 present, Len. Len? Good.
I hear you.
55 present. Understand the agenda is limited. It's a limited agenda because it's a special board meeting. If it's not on the agenda, it's not going to be discussed. So there's not going to be able to bring up new business. My president's report. As you all know, the situations that we're living with right now is changing almost daily. It is changing, not almost daily, but it is changing daily. We're very concerned about, and I believe the board will support me on this, we're very concerned about the activities in the senior community is not the same thing as the activities in the state or the county. Those of you who get the Sunday Times, wrong country, the Sun Sentinel, I corrected myself, the Sun, that's bad habits. The Sun Sentinel, there was an excellent article yesterday on the 17th. It was titled, County Failed to Meet Guidelines. And I'm just going to read you two little excerpts of it. One was, most other large Florida counties, including Broward and Miami, have shown a general decline trend in new cases and infection rate that the federal guideline recommends. Palm Beach County has not yet, and is the first in South Florida to push to reopen. This was again this week. And then the next two items were, in the statement, Kerner also highlighted that the spare ICU ventilators and hospital capacity is below where it's been. However, West Palm Beach voted to enter the first phase of reopening, going into effect May 11th. It had not met the requirements of the second guidelines. And in the week after it reopened, the number of people showing up in area medical centers with influenza-like symptoms, guideline 1, actually increased. So these are just some points that I wanted to bring out that, again, and part of it's going to be, obviously, in my president's message, is we have two defense items. We still have the same two defense items we've had all along. Those are social distancing, and the other one is washing your hands with soap and water. I want to emphasize that washing your hands with soap and water, from everything I'm reading, again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not saying that it must, is more effective than washing your hands with a sanitizer or a wipe. And the reason for that is the Coved-19 virus, out of layer, they found is a fatty item. And the fatty tissue releases itself from your body quicker with soap and water than killing it. So therefore, if you have, somebody's talking that shouldn't be talking. Therefore, if you have any deposits of droplets on your body, on your hands especially, in your fingernail areas and things like that, soap and water will remove it quicker than sanitizer or any type of liquid, other liquids such as Perel. So keep that in mind. Now, in the past, we were under the so-called emergency order of the act of stay at home. The stay at home is expired. I believe it expired March. Yes, it expired. And the new item is it's called the safer at home. So it's still the same thing. So I wish I could find out who's speaking.
Joe,
Speaking.
Joe, it's Joe Canterbury. You gotta tell everybody to mute their mics because there's a lot of
Who's
feedback.
who is it? I can't
I
find
don't
it.
hear you. Just
Joe.
put it on conference. Put it on speaker.
Joe, it's Joe Canterbury. You need to tell everybody to mute their mics. There's a lot
I
of
have
feedback.
told everybody to mute their microphones. I don't see
Not
Joe
everybody.
C. Joe C, please mute your microphone. Joe C, please.
Joe, I'm
You're not
trying to
muted,
tell
Joe.
you that everybody's not muting their mics. Mine
Okay,
is
could you please mute yours? Thank you. I'll try to catch up with the others. So the new motto is safer at home. That is basically my opening statements. Does any board member want to add anything before we get into the agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move on. Okay, the first agenda item was, we passed the motion on the 11th of May, and you have a copy of that motion. The motion is motion number 1 of 1. The motion was basically to summarize the porta potty for the non-residents. In doing some investigation and speaking, Mike made the motion, and speaking to Mike, we all seem to agree that the intent was to protect our residents, and not as much as a intent to make other people use porta potties, but to protect our residents. We believe we've come up a way of doing that without porta potty. So unless Mike wants to add anything new to it, I'm making a motion to rescind motion number 2020.5.11.1.1, which you will have a copy of. Directors, do you have anything you want to add to that? Hearing none, we go down, could all, in order, please say yes or no. I'll start at the right-hand side of the table that's not here, but that's the way I remember. Howard?
Yes.
The next one is Jerry?
Yes.
Joe is yes. To my right, Howard, I'm sorry, Alan?
Yes.
Len?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And Elise?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion is carried 7-0. Moving on to item number 5 on the agenda is to, the way, and a lot of this, what I'm bringing up from this point on, Doug has worked with me, and we both put in many hours. Doug has basically been my supporter, my proofreader, and also trying to make it as clear as possible. And I'm sure it's not going to be 100% right, but as clear as possible. Steve Slomiak, could you please mute your mic? You're on, open. I'd appreciate it. Steve Slomiak, could you please mute your mic? If not, thank you very much. So the way we're going to accomplish, still Steve, you're still on mute.
Joe,
Now you are. Thank you. Now you are. The way we're going to accomplish this, we believe we could accomplish it, and we're pretty sure we could. We have 2 bathrooms at the sports center in the complex building. The 2 bathrooms currently, the left-hand bathroom, as you view it, is the ladies' bathroom. It has 2 stalls in it. And the right-hand bathroom, which is the men's bathroom, has 1 stall and 2 urinals. We've come up with a way that we will make those 2 bathrooms what we call unisex or gender, not gender related. And the bathroom will have a slide bolt, or does have a slide bolt already on the inside door. So it'd be private. That's my phone. My wife will get it, I hope. The bathroom will be private. He's not going to get it. I got to hang it up. And the bathroom would be slide bolted, and it would be in the, so when a person went in, they would lock it. We're removing the first aid kit from the ladies' bathroom to the men's bathroom. We're going to make the bathroom on the left-hand side restricted to residents only, It will make the bathroom on the right-hand side, again, for use by anybody who wants to use it. That is our intent. Did I describe it well, directors? Does directors have anything they want to add to that?
No.
Okay. And in addition to that, there'll be, information posted on the bathrooms in both English and Spanish, so everybody would understand what we're trying to accomplish. The bathroom on the left-hand side, which will be for the residents only, will be locked. The lock with the key will be mounted to a wood plaque, approximately 6 inches by 12 inches, so you can't put it in your pocket. It will be hung from the door handle, and we'll observe who's using it or not using it. It'll be for the residents only. I don't expect many residents to use it. We're recommending highly when we get back to the tennis, so we get recommending highly that we that you do use the bathroom before you come and go home immediately after playing, because there's no gathering, and use the bathroom at home. However, there will be exceptions. You'll have the capability of going into the locked bathroom. Any discussion by any director to speak up? Hearing none. Yes? Who's there?
Joe,
Okay.
it's Len.
Yes,
Is
Mike.
this going to be a permanent thing?
Nothing's permanent in life, but it'll be right now until we get to the point we decide we want to do something differently. But that's the choice of the community, or the board will make at a future date. Right now, we're just trying to accomplish, when we open the tennis facilities, that we have protected the residents and met the guidelines. So how permanent will it be? I can't tell you how permanent this so-called safer at home will be. So
Joe,
yes, it'll be. Yes,
Joe, Mike Ross.
yes.
How often will these bathrooms be cleaned?
Minimum once every half hour. During that
Fine.
period of time, when we get down to opening approving the hours, if we approve the hours of play from 8 to 1, as long as Lucy's service is on premise, we're going to clean it. They have nothing else other to do than clean bathrooms. So yes, every half hour or greater.
Fine.
And Lucy has agreed to that already.
Joe, Jerry,
Yes.
just a point of clarification. We're going to have one bathroom that will be available to residents only. And we'll have another bathroom that will still be available to the tradespeople, cleaning, green, etc.
Correct. But the one bathroom that's available for residents only will be under lock and key, and the other one will not be locked.
Perfect.
And both of them will have a slide bolt on the inside, so when you go in, so nobody else can walk in on you. Slide bolt would be a bit bigger slide latch.
Where's the key gonna be?
Any additional questions?
Where's the key gonna be?
Seeing none.
Where's the key gonna be? Up there?
Somebody's mic is Howard. Howard, you want to talk to Brenda, turn your mic off.
Can
You're at
I,
a board meeting.
can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
I walk outside, and is the bathroom gonna be locked? And where is the key gonna be?
If you would, again, the board members heard this, and I said that very clearly where the key would be. The key would be mounted.
On top. Right?
Brenda, I'm going to answer you, and then please let's move on. Because otherwise you're taking rights that I'm not giving to anybody else. The key will be mounted on a piece of wood, 6 inches by 12 inches, hanging from the door handle of the crow's office. So anybody could use, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. If we catch somebody in there that doesn't belong in there, we'll take care of it. But basically it'll be restricted use. That door will be locked all the time. Board members, going down from right to left. Howard, yes or no?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes again.
I didn't hear the one first one. I'm going down the third. Joe is yes. Alan?
Yes.
Len?
yes, yes,
Mike? Lilise?
yes.
Elise?
Yes.
Thank you. Carried 7-0. Okay. Okay, the next item is the approval. Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. If you read my notes, I attached to the agenda just to get an idea so everybody understands where we're heading. I attached phase 2 to the agenda. And phase 2, which we're not in yet, we're still in phase 1. I wanted to point out individuals, which I wrote, individuals over the age of 65 and individuals with serious underlying medical conditions such as immune systems, cancer, the diabetic, obesity, everything going down the whole area should stay at home. And also, it might only be one out of the two, because if one is very, very susceptible to being seriously ill with the virus, they don't want to bring it into the other mate. So to me, that represents a heavy majority of our residents, of our homes here, sorry. There is it. We have a motion. I'm presenting a motion, which is the rules and regulations, the rules, not guidelines, the rules for stated the draft 16 of May. It's having the courts open for 1 hour use, 50 minutes of play, 10 minutes of cleanup, or 3 courts mainly, 2, 4, and 6. It's every other court, and court 1 at the discretion of the pro. Everybody should wipe it down when they leave, and everybody should wipe down what they touch when they come there. The gates, we're going to take the latches and we're going to tie them up with a plastic tie, so nobody has to touch the gates. They just push it in. However, Doug and I are concerned about the wind. So every day at 1 o'clock when the pro leaves, he's going to cut the ties so the gates can stay in the semi-locked position or the latch position, so they won't flap around if we have high winds. It's singles play. It's fairly clear marked. You only can touch your balls with or without a glove. You only touch the balls that you came there with. If you're playing with your partner's balls, have to be identified in a different way. Whatever way you want to identify them, that's fine. A magic marker. No marking on one, marking on the other. We don't care. If your partner's balls are on your side of the court, you will then push them to the other side of the court, and with either your foot or your tennis racket, you will not touch them. The only one that'll touch the balls, or the only balls you'll touch are the ones that you brought. I don't care how, this is a rule and a regulation. If you trust the other person, that has nothing to do with it. That's the way we got to control it. We got to do it as a go-no system or a no-go system. So please understand it. We also recommend highly that you bring water or something to drink, because there'll be no facilities there for drinking. And again, that is not our statement. That statement is required by the county. We are not allowed to have the water fountains working. In fact, they've already been disconnected and things like that. Again, stressing that the compliance part is a 2-person compliance. If somebody walks to you and we see 2 people within 6 feet of each other, and you're going to say, well, that person came to me, that's going to be unacceptable. The way you're going to control the distancing compliance is you're going to walk away or turn away or speak something to the other person and say they can't come that close to you. So the excuse that they came close to you is unacceptable. The excuse, there's no excuse. You will make sure that you maintain distance. I hope that's clear. If there's a violation, it is a possibility that the whole tennis could be shut down. Again, that's by the county. We have the right to shut it down if there's a violation. We do not have to just jeopardize or penalize the person that was the offender. We could shut it down. So the whole idea is the onus is upon everybody to make sure that we maintain all these so-called rules and regulations. And I think I have finished. So let's go through the directors. Any director have any comment they want to make? Wow. Okay, that was easy. Okay, now I'm going to try to look. So if you want to raise your hands, I'm going to go down. Just hold your hand up if you want to speak on this, because it's pretty important. I'm just going up and down. I see no hands on the 60 people that are present right now. Again, I just went up and down my whole scale. Okay. Therefore, seeing no hands, we're going to vote on.
So I have my hand up.
Where is it? Who's that?
I have my hand up.
Who's that who
Can't
says I have
see.
my hand up? Please.
Joel.
Okay, the reason I don't see you, Joel, I don't see your picture. So,
No,
okay,
I know,
Joel.
but I'm pressing the camera, Joe.
Okay, good enough. Oh, what do you want to say? What do you want to say,
Okay.
Joel?
One question, and that is that as far as the players are concerned, if they're wearing a tight-fitting surgical glove, why can't they touch the balls?
I didn't hear what you said. Again, slowly, Joel.
Let's say the tennis players are wearing gloves to play tennis. Why can't they touch the balls?
Because that's a requirement by the county. Read attachment number 5. With or without gloves, they do not want them touching, only touch the balls you brought. So
Okay,
that's
because
not
I
an
didn't
option.
hear you say with or without. Okay.
Okay, that we said it with or without because we wanted to make it clear. Even with gloves, you can't touch somebody else's balls. And we'll
Okay.
go through this and fine tune it some more, Joel, but that's not an option to discuss. And it's also
I didn't-
USTA made the same recommendation. So we're not going to reinvent the wheel. Thank you, Joel. Please mute your mic. Seeing no others, so I'm going to go down from the table to the right again. Hal?
No.
Draft dated the 16th of May. Jerry?
Yes.
Joe, yes. Alan?
Yes.
Len?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. Elise?
Yes.
Okay, 7-0. Thank you all for supporting that. The last motion number 7 is now that we have some sort of guidelines, we'd like to open it up effective Tuesday, May 16th is item number 7, May 16th, May 26th. The reason I picked Tuesday rather than Doug and I picked Tuesday is Monday's a holiday, May 25th is Memorial Day. So it'll be best to try to enforce it starting on a regular work day. The rest is any concern about opening up for singles in accordance with this draft that we approved on the 26th of May. I do not see any. Okay, anybody want to raise their hand? I'll try to go through the cycle.
Joe?
Who's that?
Bob?
Bob, which Bob?
Gershbound?
Okay, what would you like to say?
The hours. I
No,
didn't
no.
you mention the hours.
The hours are on the form that I sent you, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. That'd be 5 hours a day. We could accommodate approximately 18 to 20 people a day. You can't reserve on the regulations. You can't, out of the 3 days just like it was in the past, we had it list up for 3 days. You can't reserve more than 2 out of the 3 days. And then the last day will be up for grabs if you want to fill in 3 out of 3. So we're going to try to cycle it out. Doug did a survey, and was Doug get up to Doug, so he did not to me. Doug did a survey of how many people would pay singles, and we estimated it'll be between 20 and 30. Is that approximately right, Doug? Yes, no, Doug? Doug? Hold your thumb up. Yes, thank you. So Doug and I did a survey, so we think it's 20 to 30. That would give everybody a chance to play at least 3 times a week, if that's true. Okay, I see Elise. You're open. Go ahead, Elise. Elaine, excuse me, Elaine.
Sorry, I'm having difficulty hearing because of the static. Are we going to receive some sort of a form that tells us all these rules?
Sorry, I can't hear you again. You get closer to the front, get closer to the microphone. Elaine, get closer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't hear because of all the static. Are you
Somebody is
sending out
mute
something
everybody.
with the
Give me a
rules?
second. I'm going to mute all. Everybody's muted. Elise, unmute yourself. Elise, unmute yourself. You don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I'm okay.
There you
All
go.
right.
It's all,
Do you hear me
everybody's
now?
muted.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Are we going to get a hard copy of these rules? Because I see sort of chaos in the making in terms of signing up for courts, unless
you-
there was something
if you would
written
have seen
and
this-
distributed.
If you would have seen this, these rules were distributed on Saturday to everybody in the community. Distributed on Saturday, but yes, they're available. They're available on the internet, but it was distributed to all.
Okay, I got the rules. I got the rules about, not touching the bulls and all that stuff. I did not get anything procedural about signing up for the
Yes,
boards.
those you will get. That's why we're doing, Doug and I have
That's what I'm
drafted up
asking.
procedures for the sign-up procedure, a sign-up sheet that'll be a little different than what you've seen before.
Okay,
So those will be, but that will all be coming out this coming week,
that is
the week
perfect.
ahead of us.
That's what I
Because-
was asking. Thank you.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay.
Please now mute yourself. Now I gotta unmute all the board members if I can find this. Guys, Howard, unmute yourself. Howard, unmute yourself at the bottom. Alan, unmute yourself. Jerry, unmute yourself. Howard, you're still muted. Thank you, Howard. Jerry,
Done.
Mike. Mike doesn't know how to unmute himself. I gotta find Mike. Well, because he's on a telephone call, so he doesn't get that. I don't see Mike here. I don't know which one Mike is. He's caller, one of the callers, because he's not identified. Okay, let me unmute these. This is not good. Okay. People, let's play safe and be nice to me. Be nice to me.
Joe,
Unmuted
you hear me
everybody.
now?
I can hear you now because I unmuted all. So let's see where we are. Okay, directors. I don't see any other comments. Again, we'll fine tune this, people. It's going to be a little bit harder to use at the beginning, but hopefully we'll get there. Seeing no additional hands from what I can see of the people that are there. All those in favor of starting the tennis singles, what I call a soft reopening on May 26th, please acknowledge. Howard?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Joe is yes. Alan? Yes. Alan?
Everybody knows.
Yes.
Yes. To my right. Len?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Elise?
Yes.
Okay, so Len, you got that carried here 7-0. Len?
7-0.
Okay. I have nothing else on the agenda. Any director want to add anything for today? We have a regular board meeting coming up for the 28th, a week from Thursday. There's somebody, Shelley, you raising your hand that you want to speak, Shelley? No, okay, Shelley's okay. Doug, you want to bring anything else, or we're all okay? Doug is looking at me. So I'd say we're all okay. Unless any director want to say anything?
No.
Director, anybody want to say anything? Fine. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Appreciate the attendance. We had, is that 60? And it's 6-0 attended completely. And we had, it's 3:57. Thank you all. Stay safer at home. Safer at home. Goodbye, all. Thank you.
Hey, Joe.
Thank you. I gotta find out how to end this meeting. I'm getting there. End the meeting, I hope.
Joe, are you still there?